All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. It looks like we're live and good to go, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So we got quite a few people online. I want to thank you for attending today. You're on the Summit Alliance Advantage Tuesday training. We talk a lot about production. We talk a lot about building your agency, and one of the biggest tools that we have to do that, of course, is the lead program. Of course, we have the system. We want to teach you to be well-rounded agent. We want to teach you, not be necessarily a lead junkie. In the insurance business, it's always good to know how to network, know how to market yourself, know how to brand yourself. Just getting out there, getting in front of clients in many different ways, building your book of business, building up the clients that you work with, and ultimately, through that book of business, you generate referrals, and also, it's good to have a lead program, especially a lead program that's exclusive. We're very excited about the lead program that we have to offer. We've been utilizing this program for many years. We have, thousands of agents that utilize this program across the country. And, with the many different options that we have, sometimes it can be kind of confusing. What option do I use? So we're going to talk quite a bit about that today. If you know your lead program, you know your marketing tools, you know how to use those effectively, ultimately that's going to help you write more business. And, that's what we're here for. We're here to put money in the bank. And we do that by going out there, sitting down in front of clients and taking applications. And in order to get those clients, you got to do that either through your networking, your marketing, referrals, or, of course, through leads. I've always said the agent with the most leads wins. And, I believe that statement is very true. And, the more leads you have, the more business that you're going to write. And basically understanding the lead program, today we'll talk about just going over the different lead options that we have. That way you have a clear understanding, what to look for, which of the lead tools that you're going to use. Our partnered agent advantage, the advantage that you have with Summit Alliance Advantage and utilizing a lead program with us. And just knowing, that good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets planning, and you got to plan your, strategically plan your marketing, your lead generation. Leads are a valuable tool when used correctly. It sounds funny, but don't use a hammer to swat a fly, right? You want to use your tools properly. And, leads are just that. They're a tool for your business. And, when we talk about using them properly, we're talking about the approach. We're talking about how you generate them, the areas that you select, honey holes, if you will, in the areas that you market to. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly. Right now, I'm going to just go into kind of detail on the different options that we do have. Many of you have seen this lead option sheet. There's a lot of information on it. So sometimes it can be confusing. Starting off at the top left-hand corner, our preset telemarketed leads. Now, with our telemarketed leads, leads are available. You can go on the internet. You can find telemarketed leads. But we generate exclusive telemarketed leads where we go as far as to mention the agent's name. We confirm a favorite color with the client. We do different things to do our best because with telemarketed leads, you have a lower close rate. You have anywhere from a 10 to 30% close rate, which means for every 10 of those, you're going to get anywhere from 1 to 3 sales. You're going to have a few people that may have changed their mind. You're going to have a few people, are not interested anymore, what have you. A few people, some extreme medical challenges, and ultimately out of that, you're going to get anywhere from 1 to 3 sales. Now, even with 1 sale, you're still going to be profitable. You're still going to get a return on investment. But just knowing that telemarketing leads, we really look at those as kind of an appetizer, a supplement to direct mail. They generate a lot more quickly. And the steps that we've taken to improve the quality, a lot of call centers or what have you, they don't take the steps. We actually do have a quality control in place where we listen to the recordings before we send them out. So we can at least know that the client did express an interest in speaking to you, the agent, about final expense life insurance. And, again, we got to get a hold of these people in the next 24 to 48 hours because that's when it's still fresh on their mind. I'll refer you to the telemarketing training appointment setting. With telemarketing leads, it is okay to call and set your appointments. as opposed to direct mail. You want to, handle those differently, and, you can refer to the training on that. But we have a specific approach for your telemarketing and specific approach for direct mail. Now, with your telemarketed leads, $16 a piece with a minimum order of 10. Again, it's a great way to get in front of clients a little bit more quickly than direct mail, because again, those generate a little bit more quickly, and with that, it's a great supplement to direct mail. Now, in other training, I talk about kind of some of the disadvantages, and one of the biggest ones is the fact that your telemarketed leads are generated by county, because there's a thing called the do not call list that prevents us from contacting all of the data that qualifies for final expense. So you may have people that meet the demographics as far as, ages 50 to 80, incomes 50,000 or less. But out of those people, let's say you have an area or a city with 100,000 people that meet those demographics, that, seniors, again, 50 to 80 on fixed income, but 50 to 60% of them are on the do not call list. So with telemarketing, you have to increase your area in order to get the leads generated. So that's why those are generated by county. With direct mail, you can generate those by zip code because there's not a do not mail list. So you're looking at that same area with the same demographics, the same amount of people. So instead of only being able to call, let's say 30 to 40, maybe 50,000 of them, now you can mail to all 100,000. So you can see how just by understanding your marketing and how that's utilized, you can get a better, a more consistent lead flow with your direct mail. And that kind of brings us over. Actually, let's go down to the pre-screened avatar leads. Now, avatar leads are very similar to telemarketing leads in the fact that the client speaks to a telemarketer, which is actually an avatar that mimics a telemarketer. They're responding back and forth to the client. They're answering the questions accordingly. In most cases, the client is not even aware that they're speaking to an avatar. They're responding accordingly. The calls are recorded. So again, we can clearly listen to those calls and make sure that they had a clear interest in the final expense insurance. Now, benefits to the avatar leads, they're less expensive. Now, in most cases, they're supposed to generate a little bit more quickly. Sometimes they can take anywhere from 48 hours up to 3 to 7 days. So, with those, again, just understanding that you have less cost there. You have about the same close rate. As telemarketing, you're looking at about 1 to 3 out of every 10. So, you still have an advantage there. They're able to call through quite a bit of data a lot more quickly. That's why they're less expensive. Of course, you don't have a live telemarketer making the call. You have the avatar making the phone call. But again, just another option to get in front of clients. Then we have the voice broadcast leads. Going down the left-hand side on the list, voice broadcast leads, some agents like these because this is the quickest generating lead that we do have. It will generate anywhere with about 24 to 48 hours, and normally the whole order is filled within about 72 hours. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a voice broadcast. So a message goes out to potential clients that simply says there's a new state-approved final expense life insurance program now available in your area. To hear more about this program, press 1. So the client presses 1, and then another message will play, and it explains the final expense program and what final expenses can do, and a little bit about costs that people face for final expenses and how they can alleviate that cost with the final expense program. To have an agent contact you about this final expense program, please press 1 again. So the client actually, it's a double opt-in, so they actually have to press 1 twice. And since this is a voice broadcast message, it just plays real quick and it goes out. That's why these generate so much more quickly. And so that's another option. There are quite a few states that are excluded from that program. They are listed below, just due to telecommunication laws and things to that effect. But for the most part, if you're looking for a lead that generates super quick, that is another option that we have. Now, you get about the same close rate as you do with your telemarketing. That's the one thing about telemarketing seems to be a common denominator. You get about a 10 to 30% close rate. Even if it's a live telemarketer, if it's an avatar, or if it's a voice broadcast lead, we see about the same close rate for those. Now, at the bottom of the list on the left-hand side, you see direct mail cost per lead. This is a great option, and I'll get into, actually, let me just go ahead and show you what we're looking at here. With the cost per mail lead, you can set your cost at $32 per lead. Now, we also have our mail program, which I'll go back to, where you can mail out 1,000 pieces of mail. It's basically 39 cents per mailer, which is about $3.99 per 1,000. Now, if you go to any mail house and you look at the cost of mailing out a final expense mailer, you're looking at anywhere from 46 cents per mailer as high as 52 cents, sometimes even higher than that, you know, depending on the amount of mail that you're doing and things to that effect. So if you're paying 52 cents per mailer and you mail out 1,000, that's, of course, $520 to mail out a 1,000-piece mailer. So if you get back a 1% return, if you get back just 10 leads, that means your lead cost is $52 per lead. And you can see how just we simply listed, you know, basically the cost per lead on the amount that you get back. Now, with our mailer, paying only 39 cents per mailer, if you get back 10, that's only $39 per lead. Now, in most cases, depending on the area, average rate of returns closer to 1.5%. You know, some areas we can look at the historical return and we can kind of gauge the rate of return based on what's been returned in the past. And so with that, you can kind of understand what your lead cost would be. Say, if you got the 1.5% return, that means you're only paying $26 per lead. Now, some agents have the benefit of being in an area where you get a great return. There's a few areas that get over 2% return. So you can imagine mailing out 1,000 pieces of mail and getting back over 20 leads. Now, with that, of course, we can let you know those areas that have this just off the top of my head. I know, you know, Washington, Utah, certain places like that. But again, there's other places. But again, average rate of return is about 1.5%. Now, if you're getting, again, the 1.5% at $26 per lead, that's a great you know, that's a great lead cost. Now, if you're in an area where you never get over 1%, you know that if I mail out 1,000, I'm not going to get more than 10. That kind of brings us back to the set cost per lead. So again, this is another advantage that you have. You can choose which way you want to market. If you want to market utilizing the direct mail cost per lead, saying, okay, I want to generate 10 leads a week. I know that I'm going to get 10 direct mail leads per week to work every week. Then we can set that up. And what we do is we actually put out enough mail to generate 10 leads per week. So if you're in an area, let's say you get a 0.5% return. So if we mail out 1,000, you're only going to get 5 back. Then that means we have to mail out 2,000 to get you your 10 per week. So you can see how on your end, you know, if you were to mail out 2,000 at $3.99, you know, close to $800, and you got back 10 leads, that's $80 per lead, right? But yet we're doing the mail and you get the lead at $32 per lead. So again, just understanding your rate of return, understanding how to strategize your marketing, utilize the lead options. Again, you have 2 different options here with direct mail. So again, you can control your cost at $32 per lead, or we can mail out 1,000 at 39 cents per mailer. And again, you can go to any mail house and you can see that we're covering quite a bit of the cost of your mail. Because again, ultimately, we know that direct mail is going to give you the highest close rate. Starting off, you're going to get about a 40 to 50% close rate. Seasoned agents close higher than that. So again, we're investing more on the direct mail because, of course, we know there's a better rate of return. That's what we're all looking for. That's what we're looking to do. So just understanding that you have both options there with direct mail. And, you know, again, if you're in an area that gets a great rate of return, then mail out 1,000 and take advantage of a low cost per lead. If you're in an area where you get a poor rate of return, then let us do the mail for you and get a set amount of leads per week at a set cost. So, again, you can control your marketing dollars. You can control your cost. Your business is predictable, and you have to manage your business that way. That, you know, again, ultimately, if you work the numbers backwards, if you want to make $5,000 a month in income, then you know that you need to write a certain amount of production. And in order to write a certain amount of production, you know you have to get a certain amount of leads. So again, just by understanding your marketing, understanding the different options and strategies that you have, that's going to allow you to be more effective in your business. Now, at the top right-hand corner, which I briefly touched on this, which is our direct mail, 39 cents per mailer. Again, you're not going to get that cost anywhere else. You know, we're helping cover some of that cost because ultimately we want you to go out and write business that goes issue paid. A lot of agents, you'll notice we have $20 additional to include the mailing list. Now, what's neat about this is, let's say you choose to mail out 1,000. So you mail out 1,000 and you order the list. So out of the 1,000, let's say you get 13 back or what have you. So you get your 13 leads back and you route them out. Now, you also have the data list. So that means you have another 987 leads to go see. So you simply write out the letters that were returned to you, the invitations that were sent back to you, write them out, and then you take that data list and route out another 10 to 15 more stops. And you go see the people that return the letter. Of course, you know the script there. You knock on the door, you show them the letter, you greet them with a smile. Hey, I was in the area. I wanted to follow up with you. I received the request you made for your final expense benefits. If you have a few minutes, I'd like to sit down with you and see what we get you qualified for. You know, wiping your feet, ready to walk in. And you can go to the next stop that you routed out that was off the data list, and you have a copy of the letter, and the script goes about the same way. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I was in the area. We recently mailed you a letter notifying you of your eligibility for the final expense benefits. I wanted to follow up with you to make sure that you received it, and if you happen to have a few moments to see if we can get you qualified for it. You might as well come in and we could talk about it. You know, so again, you can just by generating activity, utilizing your leads in a manner where you get in front of people, because ultimately, again, the more people you get in front of, the more insurance that you're going to write, the more families you're going to protect, the more families you're going to cover. The more families you cover, the more money you put in the bank. So again, just another little tip or nugget there in utilizing and strategizing and working your leads properly. So, you know, understand that you can not only go see the people that return the letter, but you can also go see the people that you mailed a letter to. Now, moving on to the IUL and annuity direct mail drops. This here is very exciting to me. If you go in the open market and you look for an IUL or an annuity lead, you're going to see that the cost, it can range anywhere from $100 up to $200. I've seen them even higher than that for the preset appointment type. But with this, you're going to get your lead cost about $50 per lead, some cases less depending on the rate of return. So basically, for $390 per 1,000, we do a minimum of 2,000 because we average about 0.5% return. So if you mail out 1,000, you're going to get about 5 back. Now, some areas we've gotten as high as 1% return. So again, we do a minimum of 2,000 mailers, so we can at least look to get you about 10 leads off of the IUL mailers. Now, seeing as how they're IUL mailers, those companies earlier that I mentioned that sell them on the internet for $100 or $150, they're selling those leads so expensive because they consider it a high-ticket product, right? So the client's going to pay more, the agent's going to earn more commissions off of the sale, so why not sell the lead for more? The agent will pay more for it. Well, if you're generating the lead yourself and if you're becoming the lead generation company yourself for yourself, you generate that lead, you simply pay for the cost of the mail, 39 cents per, somewhere around there, 38 cents per mailer, and you get your the leads back, and that's what allows you to get a drastically lower costing IUL annuity mailer. And again, when someone fills this mailer out, you know, it has great bullet points, how they can protect their retirement, how they can protect themselves from nursing home costs, and all kinds of benefits that people can check off and mail back. So again, we have another great option to get you in front of clients. You know, clients that are looking to protect their family through the living benefits. They're looking to protect their financial future. Again, so another great lead option. Then we also have mortgage protection mail drops. We do those trifolder mailer, 59 cents per mailer. And again, if you go to any mail house, you're going to look at a minimum cost of 62 cents per mailer. So again, we're helping cover some of the cost. Average rate of return is about 1.2%. So again, you're looking at, getting about 12 responses back out of a 1,000-piece mailer. And what's great about mortgage protection market is the average premium clients pay for this coverage is a little bit higher than your final expense. About $85 a month is on average. Again, you're earning higher commissions off of the sales. It's a great market. And what I love about the mortgage protection market is you're dealing with the working class kind of right in the middle. They still have their parents that they're looking after. They have their financial future they're looking after, their retirement that they're looking to plan, and then they have their kids' college funding that they're looking to plan. To me, it's a great market that opens a lot of doors. It's kind of a foot in the door for all of the markets that we focus on. It's going to allow you to put mortgage protection in place. It's going to allow you to maybe look at some college planning for them. It's going to allow you to maybe talk to them about making sure that their parents' final expenses are taken care of. So a great market. Again, it's a great lead, and many of you have seen the lead, and you can see how it clearly states the benefits. A phenomenal lead. Now, we also, with mortgage protection, we have two options, of course. We do have the where you can mail out 1,059 cents per mailer, but we also have pre-owned mortgage protection leads. Now, this is the only lead that we generate that is not exclusive. Keep that in mind. It states it here. It's the only non-exclusive leads. All of the other leads that we generate are exclusive. Even the mortgage protection leads. These, we have a great relationship with quite a few mail houses, and these mortgage protection leads, we have access to these with the mail house, and basically they're anywhere from 3 to 9 months old or 10 to 18 months old. So very inexpensive. You get them the same day. So again, you have an option to get in front of clients right away. So you can place, this order today. You can receive your leads today, and by tonight you can be setting appointments for tomorrow. Now, with your pre-owned mortgage protection leads, of course, they've become an older lead because maybe they're hard to get hold of. Maybe the agent moved on to a different area, but for whatever reason, they have not taken out the coverage. So again, it's a great way. It's a quick start lead. It's a great way to, go through your learning curve on mortgage protection. You could sit down. You can, work to set appointments. You can become good at setting appointments with these. And again, they're very inexpensive. And again, it's a door-opening market. So you can get a handful of these, and you can generate a lot of business with these types of leads as well. So again, hopefully, you got some kind of questions answered on how the lead programs work. We know that direct mail has the highest close rate. We're real big on direct mail. That's why we cover a large majority of the cost on direct mail. We know that the more leads you have, the more sales you will make. And, and again, by going over these lead options and, hopefully it's going to help you plan better. It's going to help you know what's available. It's going to help you, decide on how you can get in front of more clients. And then also, with the benefit of knowing, that you do have leads that can generate very, very quickly, and then knowing your numbers, it's good to know, how you can control your cost of direct mail, especially in the final expense market. There's companies out there, great companies, but there's companies out there that their lead program, their direct mail leads start at $42 per lead. They're not exclusive, and they finance them. So, and then this is a direct mail lead. And again, they're able to do that because it's a direct mail lead. Clients are very serious about getting that taken care of when they take the time to fill it out. So again, you can see how you can control your cost. $32 set cost for direct mail, or if you're in an area where you're getting 1.3% or higher, again, you're going to even less than that. You may be in an area where you get 2% return and you're under $20 per lead. So again, utilizing and knowing, how to market and the best, strategical ways to get in front of your clients. And ultimately, direct mail is the most consistent way of marketing. So basically, when you want a game plan for great success, right? In order to do that, you have to identify your market. We talk a lot about the IUL market and annuity market, big circle, little circle. That's a great presentation. We also talk a lot about mortgage protection. That's one of my favorite markets. We talk about, and not to brag, but the amount of applications that are written, well, probably over 70% of those applications were in the mortgage protection market. And with that, we also talk about final expense. Again, another focused product. If you just mention life insurance or a life insurance lead, that's more generic. People are not as excited to get just life insurance taken care of. But if you mention, mortgage protection and protecting your home, people want to get that taken care of. If you mention final expenses, everyone's going to experience having to deal with final expenses. So, again, we have specific markets. So identify that market. You may gravitate towards the final expense market because, you want to take care of things. You feel that passion. Maybe you experienced that or a loved one or something, and that market really hits home with you. Maybe you want to, really focus on the mortgage protection market because, again, that could be a market that, that you gravitate towards. Or maybe you really like the IUL market, how you can just really change people's lives through, what I call retirement protection, also the living benefits. And, now with that, of course, you want to get referrals. You want to utilize the system. You want to do your presentations. You want to make sure you're getting in front of people with big circle, little circle. That's going to open the door, to a lot of IUL products. But at the same time, utilize the leads. And in doing that, identify the areas that you're going to work. And work your honey holes. That's what I call them. When I was out running business, just consistently every single week going out, looking to get anywhere from 15 to 25 appointments, I had honey holes that I would go to. I remember I started off, I had my license in 12 different states. And the reason I did that is because, again, I remember the man with the most leads wins. So I would see people's name on the leaderboards. I'd find out what areas they were in. And, lo and behold, the production's coming from areas where there are, of course, an abundant amount of leads. So just me, I took it upon myself to find those areas where lead generation was more abundant, and I would go to those areas. I ended up with my license in just going to 3 states, and, Texas being one of them. And, so I'd work here locally one week, then I'd go, another week and work another area. But I would consistently work my honey holes. I would consistently work these areas. I would build up my bank of leads. I would build up my book of business, and I would always have people to see. And what I mean by building up my bank of leads, if I generate leads in one area and I call through those, I'm not going to get all of the appointments at once. I'm not going to get a hold of everybody. So what I'm going to do, the next time I come back to that area, I'm going to pick up those leads that I've generated. I'm going to generate new leads in that area. I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to start my stack over, and I'm going to work those leads again. So, again, by working your honey holes and rotating your marketing, that's important because, again, that is regenerating on a daily basis. We know there's over 10,000 people a day turning of age for final expense. We know there's, new homes being sold and bought, and there's refinances going on. We know there's all kinds of data being generated every single day. So we want to work those areas where there's, again, an abundant amount of data where we can generate more leads, and you want to find your honey holes. You want to find your areas that you're going to work on a consistent basis. So eventually, like I said, I was working those 3 areas. I would rotate my marketing. I already knew where I was marketing to 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. And so I had my marketing going out. And I call it filling up your marketing pipeline. You have to fill up your marketing pipeline in order to have leads come out. So you do your marketing, you have leads come out, and if you have leads come out, that's going to fill up your production pipeline. And ultimately, it all works together. So, identify your areas, work your honey holes, and remember, leads don't sell themselves. Once you generate them, work them, you would be amazed at the effort that agents go through to generate leads, and then they'll wait to call them. They'll find something else to do you know, things will come up mysteriously, and for whatever reason, you know, they're not getting to the leads till a week or two, or even longer than that in some cases. Shocking enough. But, you know, again, they're not going to sell themselves. Leads are a tool. It opens the door. They have an interest. They have a clear interest in the final expense life insurance. They have a clear interest in mortgage protection or the IUL product and protecting their financial future. You know, and when you get your leads in your market that you decide on, work your leads. That goes right along with leads do not sell themselves. You know, and work them thoroughly, work them properly. You know, your telemarketing leads, it's okay to call them and set an appointment. You know, make sure you solidify the appointment. Do those little things. When you work your direct mail, it's okay to door knock. You don't want to call your direct mail leads. I've mentioned this story before, but I remember when I was doing mortgage protection, I would sit there and I would get a ton of leads each week, and I would call through my leads, and I would set up my appointments Tuesday and Wednesday. It's phone time. I'm setting up my appointments for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with rollover on Sunday. And again, I would set a ton of appointments. Well, eventually, we all know what happened in 2008, 2009. You know, the mortgage bubble bursted, the data went down, lead generation slowed down, but lead generation was up in final expense. So I shifted. It's another non-medical product. I went to final expense, started selling final expense, and lo and behold, I got another stack of leads. I tried to work it just like I did mortgage protection. I got my stack of direct mail leads. I sat down. I started to call, tried to set appointments, and I basically fell flat on my face. I was not getting the appointments. I was not getting the sales that I was accustomed to. So, you know, ultimately I went to a gentleman, Chris, who's been one of the top producers with Transamerica for many years, does over $25,000 a month on his own pen. And I asked, I was like, Chris, what am I doing? What's going on? And he told me. All right, let's sit down, let's talk. So I told him, I was like, okay, I pick up the phone and I call. And he's like, what? Whoa, stop right there. You pick up the phone and you call them. And he told me right there, he goes, in the final expense market, the phone is not your friend. It's actually a phone barrier. These people, seniors, are bombarded with marketing. They fill this letter out. They recognize that letter that they see in their hand. So you need to show up to the door with that letter in hand, because they're going to remember that. Because trying to call them, make the connection of the letter when they're trying to get you off the phone thinking that you're a telemarketer, that's tough. Half of these people are waiting to see that letter that told you they're not interested on the phone. And so what did I do? I took that same stack of leads that I tried to call and make appointments on, I routed them out, I went and door knocked, and lo and behold, started making sales. So again, just working your leads properly. Now also, many of you have many of you have heard me mention this before. Do not eat your seed. Excuse me. That's very important. So many agents, they'll go out, they'll generate leads, they'll go out and they'll make a few sales, and then they'll spend all of their commissions at once. You need to allocate your commissions accordingly. What I do, I have a couple of savings accounts. I get my commissions. I'll take 20% and I set it aside for seed money, and I'll take 20%, set aside tithes, taxes, and then another 60% family will live off of. But I'm always allocating my money. At first, your seed money, your allocation may be a little bit higher. You may allocate 60% of your commissions and only keep 40%. And you know, to get your business up and running quicker. But don't eat your seed, because again, you have to plant to be able to harvest. And if you get rid of you spend all your commissions and you go without your marketing dollars, your seed money, then you cannot generate more leads. So very important. Keep that in mind. Don't go out there, make a couple great sales, and go out and go put a huge down payment on a new car. I mean, you know, plan accordingly. You know, again, allocate some of that money. I've seen that happen before, and you know, I've seen agents come in, they make more commissions off of one sale than they make all month. The next thing you know, they're on vacation. And you know, again, don't eat your seed. Very important. Keep your marketing pipeline full, and your production pipeline will fill up also. I mentioned this earlier. Again, it's very important. If you're out there consistently generating leads, consistently marketing, consistently asking for referrals, consistently handing out cards, you're always going to have people to see. There's no reason to not doing some type of action to increase your business. You know, to get your leads, attached to this webinar today is the lead order form. We also have the lead order form on the website. And eventually, here soon, you'll be able to order leads directly from the website. But, you know, get your leads, get in front of people. Again, I went over all the different options that we have. We talked about the different ways to work them. It's just a matter of utilizing the tools that we have and, utilizing them in the most effective manner. And, strategically planning, knowing what markets you're going to work in, knowing the leads that you're going to utilize, knowing how to work those leads, and being consistent, filling up your marketing pipeline, networking, marketing yourself, utilizing the system, big circle, little circle. All of this goes hand in hand in building your business. And if you're out there doing these things, you're going to be in front of clients. You're going to be writing applications. So, with that, real quick, do we have? We got couple people here. Do we have any questions off the training today about leads or anything? That's a lot of people here online. I wish there was a way to have some of you chime in. But again, if you have any questions or anything, please email me. Yeah, you can text Ray right now if you'd like, or you can email me at Jason@Summit Alliance Advantage, and I can answer them at a later time. We do have a question here. Yes.
Yes, for individuals who are brand new to the insurance world and stuff to walk in, I know you already handled this for me, but maybe you might touch on that about how, once you get licensed with contracts with companies to get the website and access information.
Right. Gaining access to the website with the additional training and stuff. Is that kind of what you were referring to? Yeah, as a new agent. Yeah, and just as a new agent getting started, you definitely want to make sure you gain access to the back office of the website. And that's going to give you, access to, of course, we have the training webinars. I think we're up to like 24 now and growing. Going to be 25 today after this one. So, there's consistent knowledge back there that you can take advantage of. There's also training that goes into specific detail on how to work the leads, how to work each market. So, definitely take advantage of that as well. And so with that, I don't think there's any more comments you have anything to say, or we're good. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending the training today. Again, if you have any questions, please email me at jason@summitallianceadvantage.com. And for those of you that are local, that are attending the webinar, we'd love to have you here to be in-house to ask questions. And for those of you that are remote, we want to thank you for attending and taking the time out of your day to absorb some knowledge. So hopefully it was a benefit to you. With that, giddy up.